Happy All In July. In this episode, I am breaking down two major areas us women, and yes, I'm calling us out today, ladies, but us women tend to overcomplicate when it comes to our businesses and what we put out into the world and how we put it out into the world. And these two things that we're going to be talking about today have serious ramifications, hence the title, Overcomplicate, Under Earn. So my hope is that by the end of this episode, I can get you to a place where you stop overcomplicating and start over earning. Sound good? Okay, let's go. Welcome to All In with Allie, the podcast for online business owners and entrepreneurs who are ready to create the life and business of their dreams. I am so happy you're here. So first things first, I'm celebrating that I figured out how to turn off the AI reactions on this stupid video. I have been going on and on the past couple episodes because I record these for YouTube and I talk with my hands. Okay. This is just who I am. So for whatever reason, all of a sudden my camera has been so sensitive. And anytime I move my hand, it's a firework, it's a thumbs up, it's a balloon party, it's you name it, it's popping up on the screen. And it is highly annoying and distracting. So anyway, we figured out how, well, I figured it out. I'm so proud of myself, but, I figured out what was going on. So I stream this video through my phone's camera. And when it's hooked up to the computer, there's this green icon at the top, like the top toolbar on my computer that tells me that my phone is hooked up to my computer. And when you click on that icon, it brings up settings for the camera. And there is a toggle switch for the AI reactions. I think it's just reactions. And you can toggle that sucker on and off. And I am very excited. So I hope that helps one person today. If you learn anything from this episode, I hope it's how to turn off AI reactions. And I think you can do this on Zoom. You can do it on anything. And they are so ridiculous. Like, if this is what we're concerned about with AI, I think we're going to be okay, because on what planet does anybody want AI reactions? Like, nobody asked for this. This is weird. So there's that. Now, where I got the idea for this episode and these things I'm going to talk about today is because yesterday, as I record this, I had a client call, brand new client. And she was struggling with a few things in her business, particularly around an offer that she created that's phenomenal and her inability so far to be able to sell it. And I'm going to give some context to the situation. I'm not going to give like any specific details because I don't want her incriminated. I don't know. It's a private thing. So I'm going to respect the privacy of my client, but I do want to give some context because I know a lot of you listening will relate to a lot of this, which is why I wanted to bring this conversation here. So first things first, she has a full-time job. She has 3 kids and a thriving business, or a business that, well, actually two businesses, like two, they're kind of branched out. One's thriving and the other one is the one that she's struggling to get going. And the other one, the one that's kind of slower to get going because she's overcomplicated or was overcomplicating a few things. That's the business that's essentially going to set her free. It's going to be the one that allows her to quit her full-time job and to pour more time into both businesses. And then eventually the first business will then probably take over. And anyway, we have a whole plan for it. But when I tell you this woman is hustling, okay, I mean, like really working her butt off to provide value and put value out into the world and to be, do, and have it all, which is what I stand for. And it's really a beautiful thing to see. But there were a couple of things that she had mentioned on our conversation together that upset me and frustrated me so much, because this is not the first conversation like this that I've had. And it just seems more and more how big of an issue this is. And again, I'm going to tell you what the issues are. But just for the context of like why I'm talking about it here, I'm just like super frustrated for women like my client, because there's so many of you out there who have incredible ideas. This particular client has done something that most people, anybody who creates content, would want to know how to do. Like, she's grown a very lucrative brand on a very popular platform, and she figured out how to do it herself. Like, invested in a course, started from ground zero in 2020 because she basically got like furloughed from her job. It was just like, well, I got to figure something out. And she figured it out and grew a 6-figure business from it. So she has these skills and this knowledge that anybody who also would want to grow a business on this platform would love to know and be so fortunate to know what she's learned. But where the knowledge gap, I guess, and like her knowledge on how to bring this to the world is in the pricing and the marketing of it. And this is why she's struggling. So here she is, she's juggling all these balls in the air. She's created, so from her knowledge on what I was talking about, how she's monetized this platform, she created this course, very well done, full course A to Z. And then on top of that includes a ton of coaching. I'm talking like bi-weekly for months and months of coaching. Insane, right? If you were to think of the most effective, well, I'm not going to say that because any offer, it just depends on what the particular transformation is. But for the transformation she wants to provide, which is to help somebody go from 0 to 100 and cover everything on how to do that on this platform, she's done it, and she's included personalized support and coaching with it. So she's explaining this to me. And in my head, I'm thinking of the price range of what this offer must be just for it to make sense for her time. Not even the value of the program and the value and money that it could earn for somebody else. But I'm just thinking for her time that she's pouring into it, I'm thinking a certain spectrum. And the price she told me, my jaw dropped to the floor. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to coaching, and I coach and mentor a lot of women on, my thing is online business strategy and branding and the creation of offers. You know, said another way, monetizing somebody's genius. So I help women with this a lot. And when it comes to the pricing, we're going to talk a lot about pricing here in just a second. When it comes to pricing, I will never tell somebody what they should or shouldn't price something. All that matters to me is that it makes sense for you, but not that it just feels good for you or feels, quote, fair, which we're going to talk about that too, but that it makes sense for your bottom line and you're confident in the charging of it. So there was a time in my business where when I first got started, my first year in business, I decided I wanted to host a mastermind, and I knew the value I could provide, and I knew the transformation that I could help facilitate for anybody who got into the mastermind. And when I was thinking of pricing, I was comparing myself against like my current coach at the time. I was in her mastermind and she charged like $2,500 a month for her mastermind. And I was thinking of that and I was just like, okay, technically I'm actually offering more because, it included like all this other stuff. But I had never charged anything for anything before. Like this is one of my very first offers. So the thought of charging $2,500 a month for a mastermind, let alone $1,000 a month, made me want to pee my pants. I just wasn't there yet. So I had to come up with a price range that I was good with, that made sense for my bottom line. But also when I'm marketing this mastermind, that felt good for me, that I felt confident in the exchange of what was happening, with the members and me. And I landed on what I landed on. So anyway, all of that to say, when I'm helping clients with this, I never tell anybody. And I'm really cautious about even giving spectrums because that could be limiting, right? A client might be thinking of something way higher than what I'm projecting onto them. And that's all it is. It's all just projection. But again, like this client speaking, I'm hearing all of the things. I know her level of credibility. I know her level of expertise. I hear what's included in this offer. And she says this number and my poker face died. It was just like, no more poker face. And I just had to shoot her straight, woman to woman. I was like, are you mad? Like, what? What? I mean, I couldn't believe it. And I finally, I snapped, not on this call. And I obviously, very gently and professionally supported this client. We got to a good place and I'm going to work with her for a year. So we're going to be working on this and getting her to a good, strong place with her pricing. But when I got off the call, I can't tell you how many times this has happened. I can't tell you how many times I hear a woman who is so qualified, a lot of times overqualified, who deeply cares about the way that she supports people and what she puts out into the world, and is insanely passionate about the work that she does. But when it comes to charging her worth, or at the very, very least, picking pricing that is going to support her business and her lifestyle, it is a problem. It's more often a problem than not. And I've had it. I cannot deal with this anymore. And this is the first thing, right? So in the intro, I said there's two big areas that we women, and I really believe this is mostly a woman issue. I really do. And there's a lot of reasons why. But one of the big areas that we overcomplicate and that we overthink is the area of pricing. Money in general, but especially what we charge for, I don't care what it is that you're putting out into the world. It's a problem. It is a lack of confidence issue. It's a lack of self-worth issue. It's a ignorance issue as well, because you're not thinking as a businesswoman. You're thinking as just a human. You're not putting your business pants on, so you're not taking into consideration all the things that should be taken into consideration when we're thinking of our pricing, which we'll talk about. And it's also a societal pressure that women have put on each other. I see this a lot. I see women doing this to each other, where we blur the lines of business and humanity. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. We blur the lines of just business is business. I'm charging this because here's the value that's provided. And this is the price that for me to stay in business and for me to show up as my best needs to be priced that way. We blur that with be a kind compassionate, empathetic, fair, nice girl. Be a nice woman. Think of others. Take into consideration, like we blur. I don't know what that is. I don't know like what you would call that. But I do know the ramifications of it are not good. There's no place for it. None at all. Business is business, period. Like if you're running a charity, that's one thing. But if you're running a business and you're coming at it from the angle of, well, and here, let me give you some examples of what this client said to me. She was like, I work, or a big part of my audience are stay-at-home moms. So like, I'm trying to think, they're not in a place yet where they understand like why they would want to invest in this. And they're not in a place to invest in something this big, which is why I priced it the way that I did. That is first, and she didn't mean to do this. And we all do this. I've done this before. But when we think about it from that angle of like, well, this poor client or this poor subset of the population, they don't get it. They can't afford it. We're taking all of the power from them. All of it. Like, I want you to imagine you walk up to the Apple store, right? And you're excited to buy a laptop because you are going to be growing your business and your old laptop broke and you saved some cash and you're super fired up about buying this laptop because you know the value you're going to get from it. Apple does an amazing job marketing that. So you walk into Apple and you're ready to buy. And the guy looks at you, he was like, oh, wait, do you have kids? Yes. What's your job? Oh, well, I work from home. Wait, so you stay at home with your kids? Yeah. Well, okay. I can't sell you this. Huh? I don't feel good about charging what I charged that guy over there or that woman over there, because you're a stay-at-home mom. And I know like, you don't really get it. Like, you don't really get why you would want to, like, do you even understand why you want this computer? Like, do you know how much it costs? Like, I know you stay-at-home moms, like y'all kind of struggle and you're kind of like bad with money and, you don't make your own money. You're just taking your partner's money. So do you even you would like bitch slap a dude. You know what I'm saying? You'd be like, and all of a sudden you'd have to go buy a freaking PC, which nobody wants to do, but you'd be forced to go into Microsoft because that's some baloney. But like, that's what we're essentially doing when we take our audience and we make assumptions about them that are not fully beneficial for them or that takes away their power. That's what we're doing. And not only that, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't freaking matter who your ideal client is. And I'm not saying, because there is a time and a place to take in demographics and to take that into consideration. But at the same time, at the very same time, again, it has to fit your business model, right? So Walmart knows their clientele and they know the amount of money that their clientele wants to spend on everyday home items. So they've created a business model that fits that demographic and the prices that they want to charge to those people that's going to attract in those people. This is why when you go into Walmart, you're not going to get an incredible, stellar customer service experience. It's not going to be the most cleanly place you've ever entered into, right? You're not going to walk into Walmart and get like a Publix or a Whole Foods experience because that's not what they invest their money in. So it's okay to take in demographic and make pricing decisions to an extent, but only if it makes sense for your business. Otherwise, you will put yourself out of business. And then you get to help nobody. But like what I had to tell this client is, okay, that shouldn't even be part of the conversation. like what these people can and cannot afford. And now I'm like blurring clients. So like I've had so many of these conversations, but I've had this conversation so many times where I've had to tell multiple people. And again, I know I say this every episode, but it's true. I've made these mistakes too. I wish I could go back in time and be like, hey, what are you doing? Cut that out. It shouldn't be, and what I said, like I went on my stories yesterday after this call and I kind of had this rant in my stories. And I was talking about fair pricing because that was another thing that was brought up. She was like, well, I just want my pricing to be fair. And I was like, fair to who? Fair to who? Like to one person, this might be, quote, fair based on their whole filter of life and very radically unique perspective on pricing and coaching and whatever. But what about your other client and your other customer and your other, fair is a myth. Fair will put you out of business. And this is what I mean. Like, this is women. Unfortunately, we kind of do this to ourselves with a lot of our messaging and a lot of our conversations on social media. And it really bugs me. Like, I will never forget this. This is kind of I don't even know if I want to bring this up, but fuck it. Okay. So I was scrolling and I'm in this Facebook group and I saw this post that somebody had put in this group. And she was like, look, I'm going through this situation in business and I could use some support. And this post had hundreds of comments under it. And her issue was she's a high ticket coach. Doesn't even matter what she offers. But she had signed this private client for a year and the client paid in full for her services. And they were like X amount of months in. And all of a sudden, this client had a medical emergency. I don't know. And then the client wanted to not only get out of the contract, but she wanted a full refund of the services. So it's not that the services weren't rendered. I mean, obviously the contract, she had paid in full. So she wasn't working with her for a year yet. But some services were rendered. And it's not that she was not happy with the services. It's that she was dealing with a personal issue and wanted a refund for these services. And before I opened the comments, I thought, how would I feel about this? What would I do? And I had my own opinion on it. And by the way, I think that's really important to do. When you see something online that is polarizing, that makes you kind of question, like, how do I feel about this? Do yourself a favor and formulate your opinion first before you go into the comments. Because the comments, if you have not formulated an opinion yet, the comments will sway you. They will. And not only that, but I don't know if you saw this thing. There was this video that went viral where this woman, I can't remember, this video she came across on TikTok about I can't even remember what it was. But anyway, she came across this video and she looked at the comments and all the comments were women berating this situation and basically saying this situation is wrong and was on the side of the creator. But then her husband also came across the same video. And in his comments, it was the opposite. And it was people against the creator berating, right? So how most of the comments, the most popular ones are going to show up at the top, but depending on who you are. So the algorithm's going to algorithm. And it's kind of scary how public opinion can shift not only your viewpoint on things, but a public's in a segment area, a population's viewpoint on things. It's really kind of crazy. So all that to say, formulate your own opinion, then go into the comments. So I did this. So then I went into the comments. I was shocked. Okay, so this group is all women. Dozens of comments, if not 100 comments on this post. And when I tell you, every single comment was from women saying, do the right thing. Cancel the contract. What would you want done in this situation? End the contract. Send her back her money. It'll come back to you. It'll come back around. Be on the right side of the situation. Like, you don't want this bad karma if you don't do it. Blah, 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 blah. Bullshit, 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 bullshit. I could not believe what I was seeing. All under the guise of compassion and empathy and quote unquote right. Right for who? Right for this woman who, yes, unfortunately is going through something she had not planned. That is deeply unfortunate. And it happens every day. But what about the business owner who's rendered a service, not to mention has been paid for the service, and has built her business around this business model, may or may not have that money anymore, which is nobody's business, by the way. What about her? And I was thinking to myself, I was like, well, maybe, okay, if they're, and obviously like contracts, and this is why we need to be really intentional with our contracts. Not only the contracts that you create, but the contracts that you sign. Because there are specific things that can get you out of contract. I forget what the area is called. There's some specific area. There are absolutely circumstances. I'm not saying this is like an ironclad situation, but if that's the case, you go through a lawyer. You handle it like a business owner, like an adult, like a respecting adult. A respectable adult. Not like you should feel bad and you should take pity on me and you should let me out of this contract. Not only that, but give me back my money. What? Every single woman. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. Not one was like, what makes sense for you in your business? How do you want to go? It was all just like this weird, and I should not have to caveat this, but I feel like I am one of the most compassionate people on the planet. Okay. I'm not fucking evil. I'm deeply empathetic, and doesn't even matter. But like, where's the line? Where's the line? Because if this business owner isn't protected, you're not protected. What's the point of a contract? We have to be able to protect ourselves in our businesses. Otherwise, what is the point? We can't create business models and we can't grow something sustainable and worth a damn if, anytime somebody stubs a toe or changes their mind or whatever, we have to have empathy for them and put our business in a crappy situation because of somebody else's experience when they're the one who signed the contract. That was their decision. So we can be both things, by the way. We can be loving and deeply intuitive and highly empathetic and compassionate and loving. And we get to be business owners who are women of our word. And I have to give credit to my old coach, Melanie, because she's spoken about this so many times. And she does an amazing job of speaking on the importance of being women of our word and holding our word in business. Otherwise, we're just making a mockery of business. Otherwise, we're just playing like Monopoly business. Can't do that. What's the point? None of us are safe then, if that's the situation. So this is why I say, like, this wouldn't be a conversation if this was like a men's group. It'd be like, wait, did he sign a contract? Okay, cool. See him in court. Like, figure it out. It's not that there's a lack of compassion. It's just like, it's black and white. You signed a contract, handle it via lawyers, via your attorneys. It shouldn't be up to the heart of the business owner. So anyway, back to where I was going with this, with the pricing. This is a huge, huge area that so many people struggle with. So here's what I want to say. I'm going to walk you through how I want you to start thinking about your pricing. Okay? Because it shouldn't be like, it's none of our business what so-and-so can and cannot afford. It's none of our business what the industry average is, or what your coach charges, or what so-and-so charges or doesn't charge, or whatever. It doesn't matter. Any other factor. All that matters is that you feel good about it. You feel confident about it. You feel good about the exchange of money versus services rendered. And it makes sense for your business model. Because if you put yourself out of business because you're not being intentional and thoughtful and smart about your pricing, you're not helping anybody. So the whole thought and false intention of, I just want to be fair. I don't want to overcharge like all these other coaches overcharging. I want to be fair. But if it doesn't make sense with your, and it's all under the guise of like, I want to help people and help as many people as possible for as cheap as I can because I want to be fair, then you put yourself out of business and then you have to go work at the bank again. Could have been great. Could have helped a lot of freaking people had you have charged what made sense for your business model. Do you know what the best pricing is for your clients? The very best pricing that you could ever charge for any of your offers is the pricing that is going to help you be expanded. That is going to help you have a calm nervous system because you know that your bills are being paid, because you know that your overhead is paid, because you're able to maintain yourself and your lifestyle and your health and your wellness and whatever it takes to be fully you is done because you set your business up to support that. That is the very best thing you could ever do for your clients, for your audience, and anybody who comes into your path, because you are showing what's possible. And you're going to do better work. You're going to be more present. You're going to be more creative. You're going to have a larger capacity to serve more people. You're going to be able to have a bigger team, a bigger platform. Everything gets expanded when you're expanded. So I'm not saying you need to charge more than everybody else. I'm saying it has to make sense for you. So how do we do that? Very simple. You need to add up what it takes to be you and to run your business, your overhead. Okay. The team you need, the coach you want, whatever your overhead is, your bills that need to be paid, all of these things, add all that up. What needs to be made each month to keep you in business and to keep your business growing? And then you need to factor in taxes on top of that. You're going to take that number. Let's say that number is $10,000. We at the very, very least need to make $10,000, actually more than that, because then you're going to take taxes. So whatever your tax percentage is, you're going to multiply it times the revenue number and then add it to the revenue number. So if you need $10,000, what's 30% of $10,000? You need to essentially add that to the 10K, and that's the amount. So if it's like 3K or whatever, you need to make somewhere between like 15 and 13K to be able to just break even with your overhead. Just break even. Want more? Want to travel? Want to do it? Okay. Needs to be added to the number. Now this is your monthly goal. So whatever your offers are, need to be set up in a way that over time, when you put out offers and these things grow, you are hitting and exceeding this business goal, this revenue goal. That is the only way you should be pricing. The only way. And then what do you see that? And, and then you can decide from there. Then you can put your own heart into it and decide okay, well, I actually would rather charge this and I can make that work by doing this and shifting this around and whatever. Cool. You're the boss, but you're not going to be the boss for long if you don't know how to price your shit. Fair has nothing to do with it. And that's just pricing. I mean, like, we could go on and on about the type of offers that you offer. I mean, this is, again, but like the pricing, the money in general it's just something like, this isn't me. Like, I think this is a really big issue in the world. It's like, I hear it. I constantly work with women. I'm constantly having conversations. This is a huge point of contention with most of the women that flow into my world. This is an area of confusion. Any kind of societal pressure, any kind of outside judgment you are feeling or that's being projected onto you by anybody, women, by anybody, your partner, your mama, your whatever, doesn't matter. Friends, doesn't matter. Let it go. Because all it's doing, it's weighing you down, it's slowing you down, it's watering you down. You're overcomplicating, you're overthinking. This is taking precious, finite energy that you could be pouring into the marketing of this offer, the facilitation, making this offer the very best offer it is, no matter what the price point is. You're taking that energy and you're instead focusing on the overthinking of it all and trying to be good and nice and likable and quote fair. Let it go. It is a winning, not a winning, it's a losing battle. Let it go. Your job, your two main jobs in your online business is to be worth the amount that you charge. So whatever that looks like, whatever you need to do to be the best vessel for whatever it is that you facilitate, that is your number one job, to be worth whatever amount is that you charge. Doesn't matter the amount. It just matters that you are worth it. And the second thing is to be really good at articulating why you are worth that amount. Why somebody would want to pay that amount and why it's worth it to them. And what's in it for them. That's called marketing. That's called launching. And this is the second area that us women specifically overcomplicate, overthink, and hold ourselves back and keep us from making the money that we should and could be making, because we have muddied these waters so much we don't know which way is up and which way is down. So let's clean it up. Okay? If you have an online business, if you have any business, I don't care what the business is, top 5 jobs you have as a business owner, somewhere in those top 5 is your marketing. If not the most important job. Okay, probably the most important is like you being good at your job. But right under that, close second is you marketing what it is that you do and the problem that you solve and the value that you provide and why it is worth every singular cent that you charge for your client to get it. That is your number one job. So if you are not devoting a really, really good chunk of your time or effort or creativity or handing it off to somebody who will, and you're not making the amount of money that you want, that's why. Or that's a huge reason why. So when I speak to women and they're like, I don't enjoy social media. I'm not good at it. I don't like it. It confuses me. It stresses me out. I don't want to do it. Meanwhile, they have an online business and their business is failing. I have to have the unfortunate conversation and tell them that they're the reason why, and they better buck up, buttercup, because that's your job. That's your office, is Instagram. If that's where your clients are, your office is Instagram. And your job is to go into the office every single day and talk about all the things that I just spouted off, the value you provide, the problems you solve, and why it's worth every single cent that you charge to get it in different ways, in ways that make sense for the platform. Or invest in somebody that will and who will do that for you. You have to know how to launch. And this was another part of the conversation that I had with this client, because again, she made this incredible offer. It was so underpriced, grossly underpriced. And then she was like, and then on top of that, I launch, and I'm putting launch in quotes because she did not launch. She just talked about it a couple times, which we'll talk about. She was like, launched it out into the world, and I only got a few people. And because she charged what she charged, she made, like, compared to what she needed to make, nothing. Certainly not even close to enough what she needs to thrive in her career and as a facilitator of her services. But I asked her, I said, okay, what did your launch look like? Take me through that. And she said, well, I talked about it a couple of days. I got my stories and, I shared a graphic and told people that it was available. And after a couple of days, I got a little discouraged. People weren't buying. So I kind of just stopped. And then, like, right at the end, before, the end of the launch, a few people popped in last minute. I was like, okay, so you didn't launch. That's not a launch. That's not a launch. That's like saying, that's like you being a basketball player and saying you lost a game. And I said, well, tell me about the game. And you said, well, first quarter, I shot a couple of shots, made one, but I missed all the other ones. So I just refused to walk back on the court. I stopped playing the game. So I forfeited or I lost the game. But like, you didn't lose the game. You forfeited that shit. What do you mean? You got a couple of days or a couple of minutes into the game, and then you quit. And you're wondering why you didn't win the game. You didn't lose, you forfeited it. That's what we do with our marketing, with our launching, when we half-ass it. We have to have thicker skin. We have to be bigger than a couple of days of sales not going as we expected. You're telling me the belief for everything that you do and this offer you created basically went out the window because people didn't respond in the way that you thought that they would in the first couple days. No, it's not that I don't believe. I still believe. Well, then you wouldn't have stopped the launch. Your vision has to be bigger than tiny ass little circumstances, than blip on the radar circumstances. This is huge. And this is, out of all the things that I help women with, one of the biggest problem areas is they don't know how to launch. And they don't have a thick enough skin, or probably a better way to say that is a healthy perspective on the situation. They let their egos win. Their egos get bruised because, again, sales aren't happening in the way that you want. So they forfeit, they walk away, they give it up. And then they question, should I even do this anymore? That sucked. I didn't win that game. Should I even do that? It's like, huh? You either want to or you don't. You don't give up your passion because one launch or two launches or fucking 10 launches don't go as planned. That's business. And I just said this on my membership call because we were talking about this, and one of my girls in there, like, the vulnerability in this group is unmatched. And it makes conversation so damn good because everybody is so honest in there. And this is one of the things that she was having an issue with. She was like, if I'm being honest with you, like I have this incredible idea for this offer that I want to put out, but like I'm dragging my feet putting it out because my last 4 launches have been total and complete trash. Like some of them, no sales. And it sucks. It sucks really bad. And what I said to her, I was like, look, number one, I get it. It does hurt. And it really, like an ego bruise is not something to laugh at. Like it sucks. But we have to put it in perspective. And what's interesting about our industry, specifically the coaching industry, but also the online industry as well, is it's still so new that we don't have like giant legends to look up to for, I guess, like perspective on our own rise and come up, right? Like everybody, even the people who are killing the game are still kind of new, like within the last 10, 15 years. So we don't have a lot of data and we don't have a lot to compare it to. It really feels like the wild, wild west out here. We're all just kind of making it up. It's constantly evolving with these different platforms. And not to mention, like, all of our offers are totally from our head. You can create literally anything that you want to with any branding, with any title. It's all available. And there's a lot of plus side to that. But the downside to that is, again, we're like, wait, am I being foolish to keep wanting to pursue this if it's, seems to not be working or what? What I told her is like, this is why I like to look to other industries and other quote greats in different genres of business or genres of creative industries because they've been around longer. And to me, like I can compare the two and it helps me put what I'm doing in perspective. So what I brought up to her was like the sports analogy. And I was like, how many incredible athletes are out there who have made insane names for themselves, who are the GOATs, the best of the best, the Michael Jordans, the Kobe's, the whoever. Like, look at their record. Look at their rise. There's no athlete that has a perfect record where they only won games or they only had winning seasons. It's checkered, right? Like the great moments are broken up by really shitty games and injuries and seasons of doubt and down seasons. And that's what greatness looks like. Greatness looks like continuing to rise even when you feel like you're falling or failing. Showing up, dusting off, and doing it again. The average thing to do is say, ow, that hurt. I'm done. Ow, that hurt. That didn't go as planned. I feel silly. I'm done. I'm not doing that again. That is the average mediocre approach because you can't handle the heat of not being the best in the room. That's part of it. And that's why I said to her, I was like, that's like, you want to be great. You get back up. I don't care how many times you fall. And yes, let's fail smartly. When something doesn't work out, ask questions, get support. Hence, she's in my group. She's doing exactly that. So we're able to go through and play it back and say, okay, here's the area. Clean that up. This is why that didn't work. It's not because everybody hates you. It's not because you're not meant to do this. It's not because, insert any stupid story that we all want to tell ourselves versus the fact of the matter, which is you didn't do your job correctly. No big deal. Go do it right next time. Go try again. Like, that's why it didn't work. Can you tell I could talk about this all day. I could talk about it all day. But anyway, this is a big deal. This is a really, really big deal. But with our selling and our launching, you got to know what you're doing, right? Like there is a difference between like not doing something and getting back up and trying again and working toward your goal and not forfeiting the game and being smart about it and learning from your mistakes, right? This is like, again, take it back to athletes. When they lose a game or after any game, what do? They go back and watch the tape and they say, hey, look, that was great. Look what you just did. Do more of that. Or, oh, what the hell? Don't ever do that again. What the hell was that? Don't do that. But do we do that? Probably not. Probably not. But you got to know how to launch, right? You got to be able to do that. I didn't finish my thought. But anyway, there's like a difference between that and then a difference between like blindly, going again and again and again, but not getting support, not looking back at the tape, not asking questions, putting yourself in a room of people who know what they're doing and getting that support. But selling is another area that us women specifically really fuck up for each other with things and words and phrases like, she's too salesy. Don't be too salesy. Be humble. Downplay yourself. Confidence is quiet. Don't push too hard. Don't. Be more like this. Be less like that. I've said it. I've done it. But unfortunately, people see that. They're like, okay, so I should just not. I don't want to be too much. So at risk of being perceived as too whatever the hell is triggering you in this moment, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. And I'm not going to talk about the greatness that I bring to the table. I'm not going to tell you about the problem that I could solve for you. I'm not going to tell you my story and how I got to where I am and how I'm really proud of what I do and how I do it and how passionate I am about it, because I don't want you to think that I'm not humble. I don't want you to think I'm a bitch because I believe in contracts and because I believe I'm really good at my job. And I believe some people out there are really, really bad at it. So I'm just going to zip. And we wonder why we're not hitting our sales goals. And we wonder why we're not having a good time launching. Because when we go to open our mouths, we hear all of this chatter from all these people making flippant comments from the sidelines most times, who aren't even in the arena with us. And we're like, well, shoot, I can't say that. I can't say that. I shouldn't say that. What are they going to think if I say that? That just sounds that is just, no, okay. I guess I'll throw up this graphic and pray to God that I hit, my 6-figure launch goal. What? But I get it. I get it. It's so hard. And this is why I mute everybody. This is why I I'm not kidding. The only people that are not muted that I follow are the most confident, outspoken, in your face women in a ton of different industries. Women who cannot be bothered with other people's bullshit. Who love themselves, who believe in themselves, who aren't afraid to toot their horns, who aren't afraid to say, hey, I worked really fucking hard on this thing and here it is for you. And yes, I know like the price is the price, but let me tell you why it's worth the price. And who make no apologies for that. I follow those women and my clients. Everybody else who's trying to play this weird PC, trying to win friends and influence people bullshit on the internet, no, can't do it. I'm staying in my lane. That is not my lane. And you're confusing me and you're making me overthink and overcomplicate and under earn. And I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. So launching your most important job. Stop overcomplicating it. Stop overthinking it. It comes down to this. What is in it for them? Why is it worth the price? Why are you worth the investment? What makes you great? What is your secret sauce? Do it every single day, multiple times a day until the launch is through. And your launch should be no less than 5 business days. And I mean, I'm sure everybody has their own spectrum. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, based on many tests, 5 business days should be the minimum, unless it's something where you're selling very, very limited spots and then you sell out. Great. We love that. When you sell out, you're done. And then max is somewhere around 2 weeks, 10 business days, 14 days. After that, you're tired of talking about it. We're tired of hearing about it. Move on to something else. You can always come back later on. You can launch behind the scenes. Also, you can do whatever the hell you want. Don't listen to me. Do you. Do you. I'm just throwing in my 2 cents because you're listening to this. But do it confidently. At the very least, like, you don't have to be full of yourself, but be full of the business owner that you are. Be so proud of who you are as the business owner and the value that you bring to your clients that you want to brag on her. Separate the two. There's like the human you, and then there's like the business boss you. Brag on that bitch. Okay? Because if you're not willing to brag on her and you're not willing to do it and do it well, there's somebody else out there who's going to be louder, prouder, bolder, and they're going to get the sale, and they may or may not have a better offer than you. They may just be louder so they get the sale. So if you know your shit's good, you better own it, because I'm not investing in anything. I don't care what it is. If I do not feel it in your bones that you believe this is going to be worth my time and my investment, if you think I'm buying that from you, you are out of your mind. Out of your mind. I want you to tell me how good you are. I want you to tell me how you're the best of the best, if that's how you feel. And if you don't, that would be a really powerful thing to look at. Why? What could make you the best? What do you need to do to be your best, to be the greatest version of what it is that you do? I want to hear that. Because if I hear that from you and I believe it, guess who I'm investing in? I'm not investing in humble Hannah over here who's like, you know, I made this thing and it's all right. It's pretty good. Okay, here's a graphic, buy it or not, you know, not trying to bother you or anything. I got this thing and, you know, I think it's, you know, it's all right. So if you have any questions, let me know, or not. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'm just humble. I'm not better than anybody else. I'm just humble Hannah. And if you want to buy from me, that'd be great. But if not, it's okay. It'd be like, okay, I'm going to go buy from freaking Confident Connie over here. At least she's drinking her own Kool-Aid. Damn. The hell? Come on. Wake up. Have fun. For the love of God. Like, we're entrepreneurs. We get to create whatever we want. Our branding gets to look any way. Our offers get to look any way. Our pricing gets to be whatever we want. We get to create anything and say anything. And you're going to put out some boring shit that makes you fall asleep saying it? How do you think I feel watching it? Hello? What? Like, go back to, I don't know, wherever you're working. At least there they gave you rules and guidelines and you couldn't fail. And you knew, you know, the paycheck that you would be making. You were bored to tears there too, but at least you can't, quote, fail there. Have some fun. Root for yourself. Cheer yourself on. Be proud of yourself. Sell to me. Sell me. And do it well and do it multiple times, because the first time I'm probably busy. And the second time I'm probably doing my own thing. And the third time I haven't decided if I want it yet. And the fourth time, now I'm really starting to think about it. And the fifth time you said something that showed me how confident you are. And I'm like, well, damn, I'm in. But if you talk about something twice, I've forgotten you exist. And then I go and I buy from the person who won't shut the hell up about it. Because at least they're talking about it and they're front of mind. If you have their attention, you can have their sale. If you have their attention, you can have their sale. If you have their attention, you can have their sale. Tattoo it. I'm trademarking that shit, by the way. Probably shouldn't have told you that. So listen. If you need help with this, if you don't know how to have fun with your offers, don't know how to launch and sell and market your offers, and this is a point of contention that slows you down, that you overthink to death, to the point that you're not having fun, your audience isn't having fun, your bank account's not having fun, nobody's having fun. My next LFG class is called How to Create and Launch an Offer in a Day. It is available, or you can sign up for it right now. If you listen to this in the future, you'll get instant access to it right now. We'll link it in the show notes. I teach you how to do this. I teach you how to monetize your genius in the exact way that you want to. But not only that, how to then put it out into the world within the same day, if that's what you want. So the reason why I say how to create and launch an offer in a day is not that the day is important, not that it should have to go out in the same day. The whole point is that we're not overthinking it. The whole point is that you can make money now. This isn't like, oh, I have this idea. Hopefully I can get it out by Christmas 2025. Bitch, you could get out within the hour if you wanted to. Get over yourself. That's the point. I'm going to show you how to do that. And then you get to do it however long you want to, in whatever time frame. Okay. So that's available now. It's part of LFG. If you sign up for LFG, it's $99 a month. You can cancel anytime. You'll get instant access. I'm teaching it live August 1st and 2nd, and you'll see all the details in there. And if you're listening to this within the week that it comes out, All In, the membership, is still having its summer promo. So you can get coaching from me every single month for a year, and you get all of my offers, including how to create and launch an offer in a day. So LFG is my smaller month-to-month membership. That's just the courses. All In is all of my programs and courses plus monthly coaching, and it's on the summer promo still right now. So I'll link both of those in the show notes. It's time to go. It's time to go. Life is too short. You've got money to make. You've got lives to change. You have fabulous to be. Let's go. I hope to see you in there. I love you. I will see you next week. Bye.